How's your week been?
It's really good. Great.
All right. Shabbat shalom. Praise the mighty Yahweh, for his mercy does endure forever. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
All right. This is our portion of praise and honor to the Creator. And I'm going to open up with the singing of the Shema. So let us rise and face the east. Bless Yahweh. Shema Israel. Shema Israel. Yah Eloheinu. Yah Eloheinu. Yah Eloheinu. Echad. Echad. Shema Israel. Shema Israel. Yah Eloheinu. Eloheinu. Yah Echad. Hear, O Israel. Yah Elohim. Yah is one. Amen. Amen. My son, step up here for the reading of the commandments, please. Thank you, sir. Shalom. Shalom, shalom. And Yahweh spake all these words, saying, I am the Almighty, thy Elohim, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. I shall have no other deities before him. Thou shalt not make unto thee, any graven image, or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth. Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them, nor serve them. For I, the Almighty, the Elohim, am a jealous Elohim, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children, unto the third and fourth generation of them that hate me, and showing mercy unto thousands of them that love me, and keep my commandments. I shall not take the name of the Almighty, the Elohim, in vain, for the Almighty will not hold him guiltless that taketh his name in vain. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. 6 days shalt thou labor, and do all thy work. But the seventh day is the Sabbath of the Almighty, the Elohim. In it thou shalt not do any work, thou, nor thy son, nor thy daughter, thy manservant, nor thy maid servant, nor thy cattle, nor thy stranger that is within thy gates. For in 6 days the Almighty made heaven and earth, the sea, and all that in them is, and rested the seventh day. Wherefore the Almighty blessed the Sabbath day and hallowed it. Honor thy father and thy mother, that thy days can be long upon the land which the Almighty thy Elohim giveth thee. Thou shalt not murder. Thou shalt not commit adultery. Thou shalt not steal. Thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's house. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife, nor his manservant, nor his maid servant, nor his ox, nor his ass, nor anything that is thy neighbor's. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Next praise reading, let us turn to the book of Psalms 92. Psalms 92. Praise Yah. It is a good thing to give thanks unto Yahweh and to sing praises unto thy name, O Most High. To shew forth thy loving kindness in the morning and thy faithfulness every night. And you may read as well, join along with us, but I'll start back at the first verse. It is a good thing to give thanks unto Yahweh and to sing praises unto thy name, O Most High. To shew forth thy loving kindness in the morning and thy faithfulness every night, upon an instrument of 10 strings and upon the psaltery, upon the harp with a solemn sound. For thou, Yah, hast made me glad through thy work. I will triumph in the works of thy hands. O Yahweh, how great are thy works, and thy thoughts are very deep. A brutish man knoweth not, neither doeth a fool understand this. When the wicked spring as the grass, and when all the workers of iniquity do flourish, it is that they shall be destroyed forever. But thou, Yah, art most high forevermore. For lo, thine enemies, O Yahweh, for lo, thine enemies shall perish. All the workers of iniquity shall be scattered. But my horn shalt thou exalt like the horn of a unicorn. I shall be anointed with fresh oil. Mine eye also shall see my desire of mine enemies, and mine ears shall hear my desire of the wicked that rise up against me. The righteous shall flourish like the palm tree. He shall grow like a cedar in Lebanon. Those that be planted in the house of Yahweh shall flourish in the courts of our Elohim. They shall still bring forth fruit in old age. They shall be fat and flourishing, to shew that Yahweh is upright. He is my rock, and there is no unrighteousness in him. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Let us now turn to the book of Psalms 125. Let us read together Psalms 125, the first verse. They that trust in Yahweh shall be as Mount Zion, which cannot be removed, but abideth forever. As the mountains are round about Jerusalem, so Yahweh is round about his people from henceforth, even forever. For the rod of the wicked shall not rest upon the lot of the righteous, lest the righteous put forth their hands unto iniquity. Do good, O Yahweh, unto those that be good, and to them that are upright in their hearts. As for such as turn aside unto their crooked ways, Yahweh shall lead them forth with the workers of iniquity, but peace shall be upon Israel. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Let us now turn to the book of Psalms 50. I'm going to read one verse out of there. Psalms 50 and verse 5, it reads, Gather my saints together unto me, those that have made a covenant with me by sacrifice. To be sanctified is to be someone that's sanctified, is to sacrifice self in the sense of serving Yahweh. Put aside your own so-called ideals, your own words, and worship and praise the Almighty Yahweh with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your might. That's what saints of the Almighty does. The saints are those that call themselves saints. They don't go around propagating another God. They don't go around preaching the word of a gospel that has nothing to do with Yahweh. Not his saints. His saints only teach the gospel of Yahweh. They only teach the praise of the Creator and his laws, his statutes, and his commandments. Those are his saints. Praise Yahweh. Now let's turn to the book of Isaiah, chapter 58. Book of Isaiah, chapter 58, sets a precedent for what today is about. Starting at the 13th verse, it reads, if thou turn away thy foot from the Sabbath. What that is saying is, not treating today as any other day. Today is not like the first day or the second day or the third day or so forth and so forth. The seventh day of the week is a special, dedicated day. So special that it was the only day given any credence, any name. The Sabbath day. Sabbath means rest. Rest. It doesn't mean go to sleep. It don't mean kick your feet up and watch the game all day. No, rest. Rest from your woes. Rest from your worries. Rest from stress. You got things on your mind that you've been dealing with all week. On the Sabbath day is designed to help to rid yourself of those, to work on ridding yourself of those thoughts, those problems, those issues. If you have issues during the course of the week, man, this day here is for rejuvenation. It's not a day for you to bring in problems. It's not a day for you to hold on to problems or to issues. It is a day designed for resting your mind, your spirit, and even your soul from doing any work, any type of real physical exertion that has nothing to do with the edification of the Creator. So it says, if thou turn away thy foot from the Sabbath, from doing thy pleasure on my holy day, doing your pleasure, doing what you want to do on this day. And I have a question designed for that, but I'm going to get through this. But doing what you want to do on his day. We turn away from that. Most of us want to kick our feet up today. It's beautiful outside. Why not spark the grill and have a cookout? Why not go to the malls or go to a game? You understand? The Bengals are playing today in New Orleans. Why not fly to New Orleans and sit amongst the others who want to watch the game and have fun on this day? Why is it that we got to be confined to a building? Why is it we got to be confined to a congregation? Why is it that we have to be confined? It's deep how we make serving Yahweh sound like imprisonment. But what's even deeper is that the same one that we feel imprisoned by is the same one we call on when we in prison. It says here, if thou turn away thy foot from the Sabbath, from doing thy pleasure on my holy day, and call the Sabbath a delight, the holy of Yah honorable, the holy of Yah. Who is the holy of Yahweh? His servants, his people. He made us to be a holy people. How do you know that that's talking about us? How are we this holy people? Hold this. Turn to the book of Deuteronomy real quick for me, please. Deuteronomy, I want to say it's chapter 7. Let me see. Yeah. Deuteronomy chapter 7 and verse 6. How do you know we are holy people? Because in the book of Deuteronomy 7 and 6, it says, for thou art an who? A holy people unto who? Yahweh thy Elohim. Yahweh thy Elohim hath chosen thee to be what? A special people unto himself, above all people that are upon the face of the earth. So we are a special people. We are a holy people. Now, do most of us cling or hold on to the holiness that's there? No, we don't. And that's our shame, and that's our fault. If things are going wrong in our lives, it's not because, it's Yahweh. Well, let me say this. Yahweh tries the spirit by the spirit. Sometimes things go wrong in our lives because we're being tried and tested. Okay, this brother or this sister wakes up every day praising me. Okay, let me put him in this position and see if I still get the same praise. Let me take this away from him. Let me take that away from him. Let me add this to him and see. Because tests don't just come testers don't come through trials. Tests come through blessings. Let me see how this person's going to act if I bless them to have this promotion. Let me see how this person's going to carry themselves if I allow them to get this money that they've been asking for. So let me see how they're going to carry themselves. Let me see how they're going to act. So tests don't always come through hell and brimstones. Sometimes it comes through smooth roses on your path, cinnamon, sugar, and spice. Everything nice. Sometimes tests come wrapped in a beautiful package just to see how you're going to act, just to see how you're going to carry yourself. Prior to you getting all this money or all these so-called monetary riches, you were humble. Well, let me see if you're going to stay humble. Let me bless you with all this. And let me see how you act. But Yahweh made us, and he told us that we are a holy people. So we're the holy of Yahweh. Call those that serve Yahweh and want to serve him honorable. Don't call them being over righteous much. Don't say you're being over righteous. In order to be over something, that means you have an abundance of it, right? So if you have an abundance of righteousness, then why do we still have Day of Atonements? Why are we still asking the Almighty for forgiveness if we have an abundance of righteousness? That's my question. We have an abundance of something. To be over means your cup is overflowing. You have too much. Like David said in the Psalms 23 when he said, "My cup runneth over." But in order to have an abundance of something, you have to exhibit that you have that abundance. But if we're not walking in righteousness, we're so far behind the 8 ball. So yes, instead of downing your brother or your sister because they choose not to get in discussions that edify the Almighty, call them honorable. A brother come up to you and say, "Hey man, what you doing tonight?" I talked to you about it after the Sabbath. "Oh man, you being over righteous, man. We can talk about that." Instead of saying that to that brother, that sister, you say, "Praise Yahweh. Thank you. Let me check myself." Somebody want to come up to you on his holy Sabbath and talk about finance. "Well, hey man, let's talk about this money." "Nah, brother, can you or sister, can you wait till the Sabbath is over and then we'll discuss the money?" Instead of saying, "Well, I'm gonna do it anyway." Yeah. And instead of saying, "Oh man, come on, man, you're doing the most," you say, "You're being honorable for that. I respect that. Let me go over here and I'll talk to you about it after the Sabbath because you're right." Instead of calling someone over righteous much because they choose to keep the law. It can be 20 below outside and somebody hands you over a coat and it's mingled. And you and your righteousness say, "No, I'm good. I can't wear that." Instead of calling that brother or sister over righteous much or putting them down for wanting to hold on to the law, even to their own hurt, you say that's honorable. But we don't do that to each other. But that's what the Almighty is saying. He called the holy of Yahweh honorable. And shall honor him. Honor Yahweh. This is his day. This is when we honor him. We're in school all day. We're at work. But you know what? We spend a majority of our life going to work, making money, going to school. But a very small portion of our life do we spend for ourselves until we actually get to a point where we can either graduate, where we can actually retire. But even when we retire, we're so afraid of dying that we say, look, I need to go find something to do. So instead of enjoying or having an opportunity to enjoy the latter part of our lives, we're somewhere, welcome to Walmart. Sometimes we're forced into it. Sometimes we walk into it and say, I just need something to do. I just need something to do. But unfortunately, a lot of our elders don't have that luxury. A lot of them have to work because their Social Security, it doesn't supplement enough of what they need. They got to pay for medication. They got to pay for food. They got to pay rent. When they say fixed income, that's fixed. It's not spread abroad. It's fixed. Like you can only afford this. You can only afford that. But we spend a large majority of our waking moments working, unless you're just a layabout, just lazy. Then you wasting your life away because you're not applying life to being great. You understand? So the Almighty say, I'm gonna give you one day to rest. I'm giving you one day. This man ain't gonna give you one day without you applying for it, and then he got the right to deny it. But Yahweh say, I'm giving you one day to chill out, one day to rest, one day to focus on me, because I'm the one that carry you through the week. I'm the one that puts food on your table. I'm the one that makes sure that you got shoes on your feet. I'm the one that got you the transportation. I'm the one that got you the job that you stress that you're not working on. I'm the one that gave you that job. However, what I want you to do is just rest on this one day of the week. But we can't even give the Almighty that. So today is honorable. Don't do your own ways, nor find your own pleasure, nor speak your own words. What does that mean? Speaking your own words. Yes, sir.
Maybe, well, from my understanding, it means like, well, like talking about, oh, you see the new shoes came out, like something like that.
That could be part of it. Yeah. As a matter of fact, that is part of it. Because what does seeing the new J's got to do with my salvation? Yah gives us 6 days to talk about them new J's. And you're absolutely right, young man. Yahweh gives us 6 days to talk about them new gym shoes. He gives us 6 days to talk about finance. Let me ask, is the Sabbath day meant for us to be talking about the monies that come into a class, the monies or what we're going to do with that money? Is that okay for the Sabbath day? We get 6 days to do that. You know what? I'm going to tell you something. This is what Elder Nesha does. During the course of the week, she'll text us. And if she forgets, during the course of the week, she hits us up on the 6th day, as not to text us or send us anything like that on the Sabbath day. On the 6th day. As not to, want to bring it in on Yahweh's day. Speaking your own words. Talking about that there's another God we should be worshiping. Those are your words, not Yahweh's. Talking about the law, reading the law, and then adding your own little twist to it to make it fit your program. That's not what Yahweh said. That's not how Yahweh wants us. That's not speaking his words. Telling a person that, we keep his law to an extent. You understand? That's your words. It's not Yahweh. So this day is not meant for us to edify ourselves. It's meant for us to edify the Creator. And then verse 14 says, once we understand and learn and say and realize how great this day truly is, how honorable Yahweh's servants are, and how great and honorable Yahweh is, then shalt thou delight thyself in Yahweh. Verse 14. Then shalt thou delight thyself in Yahweh, and I will cause thee to ride upon the high places of the earth, and feed thee with the heritage of Jacob, thy father, and feed thee with the heritage of Jacob, thy father, for the mouth of Yahweh has spoken. This was a message directly from the Almighty, saying, honor my Sabbaths. Honor those who are righteous, who want to serve me. Honor me. Don't worship no other God. I don't care. You want to call on me, but then say I also have a second in command. Nah, we don't get down like that. Those are your words, not mine. So I do have a question though, about the Sabbath, and I want us to think about this question. First part of the question is, does the whole Sabbath, from the rising of the sun until the going down of the same, does the whole Sabbath belong to Yahweh? Does the whole Sabbath belong to the Creator? Yes, sir.
Yes, because Yahweh is the one that created it.
He's the one that sanctified it and made it holy. You're right. Now, the second part of my question is, if this whole day from the rising of the sun until the going down of the same sun belongs to Yahweh, then is it okay to franchise out his day? Franchise it out. The word franchise is attributed to, like McDonald's. McDonald's is a franchise. I'm just using that as an example. McDonald's is a franchise. Chick-fil-A, these are franchises. And what people can do is you can buy into a franchise and you can open your own. McDonald's and you'll be the owner of that McDonald's. It's franchised out. Where you can say, well, I'm also an owner of a McDonald's. I own a franchise. It's not its own entity anymore. It's owned by a conglomerate of individuals now. Is that the same way we should treat the Sabbath? Is the Sabbath a franchise?
No.
Why isn't it a franchise?
Well, because nobody can buy it out.
So I can't own a piece of the Sabbath?
Oh no, I'm thinking it in a different way.
I can't own a piece of the Sabbath?
No, that's not what I was thinking. I was thinking of
Share what you're thinking, bro.
No, I was thinking like I own the Sabbath. Like you can't, I own the Sabbath. Only me. I bought the Sabbath. Like Yahweh, I bought it from Yahweh. He doesn't own it anymore. I own it.
And I own a piece of this day, which means I can do what I want to with my piece because I own it, right?
No, the whole thing.
That ain't what I asked. I said franchise. When you franchise out, you're buying a piece.
Oh, then
you actually were right when you said no. Today cannot be franchised out. The Sabbath does not belong to. He gave us the Sabbath to keep it holy. It's just like, for example, if you let me borrow your sweater, is it okay for me to let other people wear your sweater if you let me have it or let me borrow it? No. Why? Because that sweater still belongs to you, right? And if I say, hey man, let me wear that sweater, and you be like, here, brother Michael, you let me wear that sweater, and I say, well, and you come over my house, you see my dog with it on, you see my wife with it on, you see, if we had a dog, you see the fish with it on, you see everybody else with it on, but me. You gonna say, brother Michael, I thought you wanted to borrow the sweater. And you would have every right to be upset with me because why? I don't own the sweater, you do. Now, if I'd have bought it from you, if it was for sale, then it belongs to me. But because I didn't purchase it from you, you gave it to me to wear, You didn't give it to me to give to everybody else in my domicile. So in other words, that's the Sabbath. Is it okay? Let me ask this question. Let's say that a husband and wife, the wife is going into labor on the Sabbath day. So she has to be taken into the hospital to have the baby. The baby comes forth. Is it okay then to stop celebrating on the Sabbath day? Stop celebrating Yahweh on the Sabbath day and celebrate the birth of the baby?
Still celebrate Yahweh.
So I can't celebrate the birth of my baby on the Sabbath?
No, because Yahweh is the one that put that baby.
So is the husband wrong if he says, all right, the baby is here, the baby is safe, let the mother and the baby rest, and let's get back to the Sabbath? Is the husband wrong for doing that? No, he's not. Because why? We don't own the Sabbath. I think that, now let me ask this question. What if you upset? And let's say you don't get to see the person you mad at until the Sabbath day. So what if you upset? Is it then okay to pull that person to the side on the Sabbath day and tell them why you mad at them? Is that okay to do?
Well,
Go ahead.
depending on what it is.
Okay.
Because if it's something like, say if you say like oh you sold my jewelry for $23. You sold my gold chain for $22. I told you sold it for $15,000. Then that's not relevant to what was going on Sabbath day.
So then the answer will be no. Because if it's really that pressing, I'm going to find you. I'm going to call people. Hey, you got such and such number? You got this? I'm going to search for you. If it's that pressing. Well, most of us don't do that. We'll wait till the Sabbath day and bring out all our dirty laundry online. We talk about, we bring anger in with us. And we'll do all that on his holy day and justify it with scripture. Cry loud and spare not. Raise thy voice like a trumpet. No.
To make thy cause with thy neighbor.
There you go. That's right. See, I'm debating my cause. Like, brother, you had 6 days or sister, you had 6 days to debate your cause with me. But you wait till today. And us ministers are out of the woods. We won't call you, but we'll wait till we get behind our podiums and want to put you down. And the congregation says nothing because they don't want to get in that rapid fire. They'll wait. Yeah, I heard some teachers saying this. It's happened to me. It's happened to a lot of teachers. I've done it. And I've been wrong. So instead of me calling the individual and saying, hey, man, I disagree with what you're saying, we calling them out. Like this podium gives us superpowers. We call them out. On his holy day. So we treat the Sabbath day as though we own a portion of the franchise. We treat it like it's a football team or a basketball team. We invested by me not eating pork and by me wearing 100% garments. That is my contribution to keeping a portion of the Sabbath day. So I can take the portion of my Sabbath day and I can do what in the world I want to do with it. Why? Because I own a piece of the pie. But we don't own nothing. You know what happens to a franchise? when someone dies, it goes to the next person or it's sold away. You know what happens with the Sabbath day? If someone passes, Yahweh still owns it. Yahweh is still the CEO, CFO. He is the OOO. He is the King of Kings and Master of Masters. So no, we cannot franchise off today. So let me ask this question. Is it okay to honor people on this day, on Yahweh's day? Is it okay to honor the life and legacy of individuals on the Almighty Sabbath day? That's my question. Is that okay? And I'm talking about service of the Almighty. I'm not talking about you just getting up talking about Martin Luther King was a great man. I'm talking about service of the Almighty. Is it okay?
No,
Why isn't it okay?
the legacies, franchises, you know. No, because they have individual lives, and they might say, "Well, I was a great musician.
Mm-hmm.
I had nothing to do with the Most High. I might be a good fisherman.
Mm-hmm.
A fisherman has nothing to do with the Most High.
Mm-hmm.
But they're all servants. So when the servants say, no, this ain't. I mean, but if they're servants and they have a good understanding or a great understanding on who the Almighty truly is, then I don't think they would ask tell them that because it's a Sabbath day.
Okay. Anybody else? Anybody out there got questions? I don't think anybody gone yet, so anybody got questions?
Respond. She just said our praises, honor, and glory to the mighty, mighty King of the universe. Shabbat shalom, family.
Who said that?
Andrea.
Oh, shalom, Sister Andrea. Praise Yahweh. But we're sharing in a question, if you just tuned in with us. Does the whole Sabbath belong to Yahweh? Or is it okay for us to be franchise holders of the Sabbath day? Meaning, does the whole Sabbath belong to Yahweh? Or does just a portion of it belong to him? To where we can take it and do sort of what we want to with that day. And let me throw this point out there. What happens to us if we don't keep the Sabbath holy?
Well, we get put to death.
Okay, so there's a grave consequence by not keeping his Sabbath, right? Now, what consequence would a person receive if they own a piece of that day, of the Sabbath? Like, how you gonna punish me for doing what I want to if I met the requirements to own a piece of this Sabbath day? How you gonna punish me for how I use my piece when I own it? I own this. So what that shows is we, maybe we don't own the Sabbath, a piece of the Sabbath. Maybe we don't. Yes, ma'am.
Andrea says that she believes the whole Shabbat belongs to Yah.
Beautiful point, sister. You're absolutely right. The whole day belongs to Yahweh. And maybe that's how we should watch how we deal with each other on this day. How we talk to each other on his holy day. Now, I know some will say we need to watch it every day. Well, I'm not speaking on every day. I'm solely talking about the Shabbat day. And we also read in the book of Isaiah 58:13, where it says, the holy of Yahweh honorable. Who is the holy of Yahweh? That's his servants, those that serve the Almighty. So instead of putting the servants down because it may look like they're being a little extreme when it comes to keeping the Sabbath day. It might look like, oh man, you're doing the most. When in actuality, we're not doing the most. We're trying to play catch up. You might think it's okay. Excuse me. You might think it's okay to buy products and not worry about what's in it. Where Israelite, a true servant of Yahweh, is going to take that product and look and be like, oh, what's this ingredient? I don't know what that is. Let me put that back. Okay, here's one. I know about these ingredients. Okay, this is clean enough for me to eat, so I'll put this in my cart. The shopping for a true servant of Yahweh, for some, it might take maybe about a couple minutes. But for a true servant, you might be in the grocery store for hours because you're reading everything, unless you're familiar with the products that you're purchasing. Yes.
Okay. On that note, yesterday, my son Azariah went out to Buston Bakery to get a chest pie. My husband used to love those.
Mm-hmm.
And he came back, he was so excited. And then about half an hour later, I saw the whole, and I know he paid probably about $10, $15 for that chest pie.
Mm-hmm.
I looked in the garbage and he had thrown the whole pie in the garbage. I thought maybe he had dropped it on the floor. I'm like, why are you throwing the pie away? He said, because I didn't read the ingredients, and he always read the ingredients. I mean, he'd be helping me. He'd be like, Mom, you have to let wake after that. Carrageenan, I think it's not sure how to pronounce it, but I will bring it to the class. It's called Carrageenan. And what it is a cancer-causing product. It's got like seaweed in it that help form things, and that was in that pie. And I'm like, wow. But I mean, he made a special trip out there to get that, and he threw the whole pie away. I'm looking like, wow. So
That's why it's good to research and look.
yeah.
Or here's the thing, because I'm going to tell you, and I commend him for doing that. But I will say that we're going to be throwing away everything in our cabinets. Everything in our cabinets is cancer causing. Everything got something in it just about that's cancer causing, or that can cause this, or that can cause that. That's why it's good to learn how to cook. Get your own ingredients and make your own chest pie. Make your own apple pie. There are a lot of things that I researched, a lot of things that I look at that I found out that are vegan, that are out there on the market. If you're looking for pies, there are certain things out there that are vegan. You can just type in commercial pies, or you can research it yourself with the ingredients. But there are a lot of things, surprisingly, you would think that are not vegan or vegan friendly. But just because they're vegan don't mean they're good for you, because you still have high sugar content in certain things and a lot of preservatives in a lot of the vegan foods, because they have to preserve it because it's not processed the same way as regular meats and things of that nature. But nonetheless, you just got to research. And that's what I'm saying. A true Israelite is going to research. Like Azariah, he looked at that pie, and I'm going to tell you, he probably was like, dang, I'm going to spend all this money. Or he might have been like, oh well. And that's what, right.
Didn't look at it. He didn't read it.
And that's my wife's favorite. She loves chest pie.
Buskins.
Chest pie. Graters. She loves Graters, but I don't know. But Graters, I think, is a different company from Buskins, of course. But yeah. When you get stuff, check it. You want a birthday cake? Carl, you're gonna spend money. You want some healthy cupcakes, some vegan cupcakes, you're gonna spend money. Don't expect necessarily to go in and get 50 cupcakes for $1. You're gonna spend some money. You're gonna spend money to be healthy, but the best thing to do is, and my wife and I have been talking about it, because my wife and I, we're busy people. We're busy, and I can be very lazy. When I come in from work, sometimes I just sit down. My wife fixes my plate, and I sit down and eat, and then I might get up and do something else. But other than that, but I have to break that mold. I have to break that mold. So I cook. I started cooking when the pandemic first really hit heavy. I started cooking because I was home more. So I learned how to cook. My daughter is a heck of a cook. And she's 12. My grandson can throw down. We got 5 cooks in our house. Can throw down. My wife throws, she can throw down. You know what I'm saying? But when it comes to Yahweh's weekly Shabbat day, those are the individuals that we should honor and say, not honor in the sense of praise, in the sense of, well, offer praise. What am I talking about? Offer praise. Man, praise be Yahweh for what Azariah did. Praise be the Most High for that. That was righteousness. Instead of me holding on to it and saying, well, yeah, let me just, I don't want the righteous are taken and say, I don't want, okay, this ain't necessarily good for me. Or there's something in it that I don't know what it is. Like, there's a beard oil that, hey there, gorgeous. Praise Yahweh.
Praise Yah.
But there's a beard oil that my daughter bought for me. She made sure that it was plant-based and everything. And one of the products in that beard oil has, I researched it because I wasn't familiar with this chemical. It comes from shark oil. In the trash. In the trash. It was just that one thing. Everything else is plant-based. Just that one thing. I threw it in the trash. You understand? So honor those individuals that are willing to do what's right. We can't say, let's hold on to integrity and let's honor those with integrity, but then ridicule them when they exercise that integrity. We're in the book of Isaiah 58, and we're just talking about the Sabbath, and I asked a question. For those that are just now tuning in, and my dear sister who walked in, the question was, does the whole Sabbath belong to Yahweh? Or is the Sabbath a franchise where you can own a piece of the Sabbath and do what you want to with it? My sister said, no. The whole Sabbath belongs to Yahweh. That's right. And the thing is, but we treat this day like we are franchise holders. Like we invested a piece of whatever it was. Well, Yahweh, I gave up swine for you, so I should own a piece of this. That's my contribution to the Sabbath. Yahweh, I stopped doing a lot of the things that I did, so that's my large contribution to the Sabbath day. So I should be able to do what I want to on this day because I own a piece of the pie. But in actuality, we don't own nothing. Yahweh shares it. Yahweh shares it. Let me ask this question. What if you were hungry and I'm hungry and I ain't got nothing to eat? I ain't got nothing to eat. And you be like, well, I got this last turkey sandwich. I've been thinking about this sandwich all day. I'm daydreaming about how that sandwich is going to taste. And you say, here, Brother Michael, there you go, brother. I eat my apple. And I'll be like, man, good looking, brother. I'm starving. I'm starving. And I open the pack, and you looking because you really wanted the sandwich, but you like, no, I'm gonna be strong. I'm gonna eat my apple and pretend it's turkey. So you unravel it, you take it out the pack, you take it out, and I go, come here, boy. Come here, boy. And I feed it to my dog. You see how you looking at me right now? That's the look you would give. Like, no, this N did not just feed my last turkey sandwich to this dog. And I got the nerve to smile like, you a good brother. You would look at me like, why do we think the Almighty looks at us when we take the day that he gave us to worship him on and franchise it out? Or try to act as though it's a franchise. Exactly. So here's the definition of a franchise. The definition of a franchise is it's an authorization granted by a government or company to an individual or group, enabling them to carry out specific commercial activities, acting as agent for a company's product. So however you're going to market McDonald's, once you buy a franchise, that's yours. You own it. You own a piece of the franchise. So however you market it, if you want to market it to black people only, then guess what? You just market it to black people only. If you want to market it to Hispanics, you market it to Hispanics. But the difference between McDonald's and the Sabbath day is that the Sabbath day, you can't buy into the Sabbath day. You can't change the concept of McDonald's. Excuse me. Now, when you get a franchise, you do have to stand by certain ordinances of that franchise. You know, if Ronald McDonald is the mascot, you can't go get Big Tony the Fat Burger to come and be the mascot of McDonald's. No, you got to keep that same thing going. However, your approach and how you want to deliver the advertising of your franchise, that's totally up to you. You have that right. You just can't change the concept of what McDonald's is. Like, you can't open a McDonald's. Like, if I buy a franchise, I can't take and open a McDonald's and want to sell neck bones. You understand? I got to keep selling them Big Macs and them quarter pounders and them chicken nuggets and whatever else McDonald's has. I have to keep that going, but I own it. I can choose to have my my McDonald's in the hood or not in the hood. I can choose to just cater to Hispanics, just as long as I'm still keeping the major concepts of that. The weekly Sabbath is not that way. The weekly Sabbath is not you keep the Sabbath day how you want to keep it. Just keep it. No. The weekly Sabbath, Yahweh tells us this is what you need to do. Honor me. Call the holy of Yahweh honorable. Don't speak your own words. You keep my Sabbath day how I tell you to keep it. Now let me ask this question here, dealing with the difference between is the Sabbath the whole day Yahweh's or if it's a franchise. Let's say I throw a celebratory party and I just want to celebrate the union of myself and my wife. I invite everybody. I pay for the venue. I pay for the food. I pay for the DJ. I pay for everything. I pay for everything. All you got to do is come in and show up. That's all you got to do. You know, you come in, you come as you are. You can't come naked, but you come as you are. You come on in. You get to enjoy the festivities. You get to enjoy the food. You get to enjoy the total experience of celebrating the union of my wife and myself. And you RSVP, so that means you're coming. So you coming, and I have the understanding that when you come, you're celebrating us. We're celebrating our union. So you come to the party, we all dancing, and then there's a part of the venue that I paid for that has a little space in there. And then all of a sudden, you want to intrude by telling everybody, hey, come follow me. I brought a DJ too. So we all gonna party over here. What would Brother Michael do? Brother Michael will probably go off because that's my event. That's an event that I threw. How dare you come and intrude and bring your own things. You ain't even pay for the space. I did. Some may say, well, brother, how does that make any sense? Here's the thing. That's what we do on the Almighty Sabbath day. He tells us a certain way on how we should keep it, but then we bring our own ideologies. We bring our own little party favors. And we say, well, we're going to keep it this way. We see how you want to keep it. You want to keep the Sabbath day where all we have is peace all day. That's boring. Let me ask those that are watching. And be honest. How many of us love a little bit of drama in our Knesset? Just a little bit. Love it. Just a little bit. So you can go back and tell somebody about what you saw. How many of us love it? Right now, I'm boring probably to some. Oh, he ain't cutting up Christians. Oh, he ain't up there cutting up Muslims. Oh, he ain't talking about them Jewish folks. Or he ain't talking about this. He ain't up there talking about the wicked and how wicked this world is. He up there talking about is the Sabbath day, a whole day Yahweh's, or if it's a franchise. Yes, I know the whole day is a Sabbath. I know it's Yahweh's. Then why you ain't at a holy convocation if you can't be? If you know the whole day is Yahweh's. Hold this, Isaiah, and let's turn to the book of Leviticus 23. Because maybe y'all see something different. Oh, I'm so tired of hearing about this Sabbath day. We know it's Yahweh's. Why you say that while you watching from your computer screen when you can be in a Knesset? Because you feel like everybody in there is so wicked, but you so righteous. Well, why don't you come and spread some of that righteousness over here? Come on. Show us how to be righteous so that we can turn our nose up at other congregations and say, well, that congregation over there, they wicked. I don't want to go over there. They got too much going on. Now, here's the thing. I want to say that if you are a congregation where tail-bearing, lying can fit comfortably in your space, you might want to check yourself. You want to create an environment where wickedness got to be like, oh, I got to get up and go. I can't be in here. But if wickedness can come into your place and sit down and be like, yeah, girl, hallelujah. Yeah, man, that's right, my man. Yeah, you teach, pastor. You teach, minister. If wickedness can come in and sit comfortably amongst the space of the righteous, that's a problem. Go ahead, son. You just want to say something.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I did an essay on I'm gonna try to add it into this.
Go ahead. Yeah.
I did it on why Yahweh's laws is the key to success. What I put was that one of them is on the Sabbath day. I think the people that don't keep the Sabbath day, they look at the restriction part.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, like, you can't do this, you can't do that, you can't do, because I think that I think they like to have a life with just no problems, but you don't have to worry about this happening because there's no consequence.
Mm-hmm.
But in reality, there is a consequence to everything we do. So I guess that's what they look at and what takes the fun of it.
Yeah, they look at the restrictions. You're right. You know, on the Sabbath day, this is my only day off during the course of the week. I don't want to sit in nobody's Knesset worship. I want to sit in my house and drink and smoke and watch the game and maybe have a little unky going on with my wife. That's what I want. I don't want nothing else. We don't look at the benefit of serving the Creator and worshiping on His holy day. And let's look at Leviticus 23. So you read starting at verse 1, please. And hold on, I'm sorry. No, go ahead and read. I'm sorry.
And Yahweh spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them, concerning the feast of the Almighty, which ye shall proclaim to be a holy convocations. Even these are my feasts. 6 days shall work be done, but the 7th day is the Sabbath of rest and holy convocation. Ye shall do no work therein. It is the Sabbath of the Almighty in all your dwelling.
Now, the key word in there is convocation. A convocation is a gathering. It's a meeting. What makes it holy is when we bring Yahweh into that mix. Or the holy convocation is holy when we decide to have it on his holy day. It's sort of like, yeah, it's a holy convocation because it's a holy day. It's a holy gathering. Some people may feel like, well, the people in there ain't holy. Well, the people didn't make the Sabbath holy. Yahweh did. Yahweh didn't say, I'm making this day holy because of the people. I'm making this day holy because I'm making it holy. I sanctified it. Turn to the book of Genesis chapter 2, the first time that the Sabbath is mentioned. In the book of Genesis chapter 2. Because maybe I'm missing something in that verse. Maybe I missed something in Genesis chapter 2. And so you start reading at the first verse, please.
Thus
Thank you. No, I was telling thank you. Yeah, thank you for waiting.
Thus the heavens and the earth were finished, and all the host of them. And on the 7th day, Yahweh ended his work which he had made. And he rested on the 7th day from all his work which he had made. And Yahweh blessed the Sabbath day, the 7th day, and sanctified it, because that in it he had rested from all his work which Yahweh created and made.
So he made this day a rest day because he rested on it. Now, what if Yahweh would have said, what if the Almighty did continue working on the Sabbath, on the 7th day? Who did he tell to keep it? He told man to keep it. Does Yahweh have to keep his own laws? He told man to keep his laws. If Yahweh chose to do a work on the Sabbath day, he can. We're not the creator. We can't get confused with the fact that he made us in his image. He made us in his image and in his likeness, but we're not him. We just resemble him. He gave us certain powers, but not powers to where we can say we're equal to him, because we're not. So the Almighty said he sanctified this day, not man. You leave it up to man, the Sabbath isn't even on the 7th day of the week. Sometimes it floats. You leave it up to man, man will tell you Sabbath floats. You leave it up to man, they'll say, well, the Sabbath is on what we call Sunday. Yes, you end that. You leave it up to man, man will say, well, you can't keep the Sabbath at all. But we just read where Yahweh sanctified the Sabbath, and this was prior to we even having priests that did sacrifices on this day. And we offered up sacrifices every day, not just on the Sabbath day, every day. The only ones that worked on the Sabbath day amongst men were the priests. They were the only ones who were allowed to work. They did the sacrifices. They kept the temples, the tabernacles. They were guards. They weren't just priests, they were warriors too. Some of them, they were warriors. They had swords. They walked around with weapons. Because they were created to protect the sanctity of the temple. as well as offer up sacrifices and pray for the people. So when you read about the priests here, it ain't no just they just was in the temple and they were all they did was pray. That was all they did. No, they were soldiers. They were warriors. They were trained, well-trained men who had no hesitation of taking your life if you came in to do something to that temple. Yes, ma'am.
Since we still on Shabbat, talking about the Shabbat.
Mhm.
Andrea has a question, and it's just ironic that I brought this book that Moray Elisha wrote, Setting the Crooked Things Straight. I'll let you answer her question, but hopefully next week I have a whole chapter on the question that she asked. And her question is, I made a post on Facebook which said, Happy 6th preparation for the Shabbat day tomorrow for the 7th day. A brother made a post that the Most High said a day is evening to evening. And she wanted to know why he did say that.
Very good. Because we still have most brothers and sisters that believe that a new day starts in the evening. So they believe that a full day is from evening to evening. Most brothers and sisters believe that the Sabbath day or the any day of the week starts at even. Starts at even. So that's why that brother posted that. Because they're under the impression that a new day starts at even. So they're under the impression, and that's something that we got from our captives, that teaches that a new day starts in the middle of the night. A new day does not start in the middle of the night. A new day starts at first light. When the first light cracks through the day, that's when a new day begins. So why that brother said that, that's why. Because you have some that keep a day from evening to evening, but a full day begins with morning. And actually the day starts before you even see the sun in the sky. Is when you see that light crack through darkness, that's when the day is beginning. A day is shown, the sun is the governor over day, but the light is an indicator of a day coming. So when you see that, before you actually are able to see the sun in the sky, you see the light that illuminates from it first, that breaks through the night, through the darkness. So if you get up and you like, oh man, the morning just started. Look at no. If you get up and you see the sun, the day started way before you were able to visually see the sun. It's the light. But you have some that believe that a new day starts at night. You have some that believe that a new day starts when the evening comes. And the evening is part of the day. And some may say, well, how is that possible? Well, the evening is a part of the day because the evening still has light from the sun. The evening is a transitional period between day and night. It's a transition. The day is ending at evening. And then you go into having the night. And then when the evening hits, now you have some that mention what's known as a calendar date, where the calendar date doesn't end until the next morning. And then but the Almighty don't mention a calendar date. He mentions a day and an evening and a night. So in other words, all days begin in the morning. And all days end in the evening. Because the evening is the indicator that the day portion of that life cycle is ending. And we're going into the night portion. So I hope I answered that question. Excuse me. Would you like to add something else?
No, I was just gonna say, if the Almighty blesses me to be here next Shabbat, I have a whole section that I could give you, that Maria Alicia talked about day and night. It's a lot of scriptures that I'll be able to give you that you can go and read yourself that proves that what that guy was talking about, and he didn't know what he was talking about. A day starts in the morning, night in the evening. The only day that recognized as a day of atonement, and that's from evening to evening. So that's the only one that is recognized in the scriptures.
Mm-hmm. That's right. Let's see here. Turn to the book of Judges real quick. Turn to the book of Judges, chapter 16. Now, this is when Samson had beat the Philistines with the jawbone of an ass. And then going into 16 is him entering into the city of Gaza, where he saw a harlot. Her name was Delilah. Son, you start reading at Judges 16 and verse 1, please.
Then went Samson to Gaza, and saw there an harlot, and went in unto her. And it was told that Gazite, saying, Samson is come hither. And they compassed him in, and laid wait for him all night in the gate of the city, and were quiet all the night, saying,
pause. They paused. Basically, they did a covert they had a covert operation. And what they basically did was they laid wait for, because they known about what, because Samson had whooped their tail. So the Gazites had heard about Samson coming into the city of Gaza and laying with this harlot, this woman. And they said they're going to lay wait all night. So they laid wait all that night. And they rested. Now that shows a difference. That shows, and I'll explain. This isn't a really strong scripture, but it's a good one still to show the difference between a day and a night. But they waited all that night. Okay? Continue reading. Pick up at what they did.
And Samson lay till midnight, and rose at midnight, and took the doors of the gate of the city and the two doorposts. Wait, hold on.
You skipped that last sentence. Just read verse 2 over, please. Thank you, son.
And it was told that Gazites, saying, Samson is come hither. And they compassed him in, and laid wait for him all night in the gate of the city, and were quiet all the night, saying, in the morning, when it is day, we shall kill him.
Now pause. In the morning, that's showing the difference between what a day is. Now it says in the morning when it is day. This is an example to show where morning dictates a day. all years are dictated by day. It's showing where morning is attributed to day and not night. All right. So now let's go to the book of Genesis real quick. Let's see here. Okay, let's see here. Turn to the book of Genesis. Let's see here. Let's look at let's see here. Let's see. Who do I want to read from? Okay, turn to the book of Genesis chapter 32. All right, now start at verse 22. This is Jacob. Jacob is he's on his way to basically begin his own life, and he sends off his wives, his children, his manservants, and he chooses to stay back. He chooses to stay back and rest. He sleeps on a rock, but then he looks up and it's this stranger, this man that comes up. Start reading at verse 22 of what happens.
And he rose up that night.
So now this is dealing with that night. He rose up in the course of the night. Okay, continue reading.
And took his 2 wives and his 2 women servants and his 11 sons and passed over the ford Jabbok. And he took them and sent them over the brook and sent over that he had. And Jacob was left alone, and there wrestled a man with him until the breaking of the day.
Now, the breaking of the day means that the day was the light. So this was late at night that he was wrestling with this man, which turns out to be an angel. This whole situation is how Israel was brought forth. So the breaking of the day is where the light of the sun was breaking through the darkness of the night. That's the breaking of the day. That's when a new day begins. That's when a new day begins. Is when the light breaks through the night. It breaks through the night and is bringing forth to let the stars know and the moon know that it's time for you to retire. It's time for you to sit back and allow me to do my position in perfect order. You cannot have a night if you don't have an evening. And you cannot have an evening if you don't have a morning. All mornings begin at first light. When we got up and we saw the sun, it was morning had already started prior to the sun revealing itself. The light from it shone through, and it had already broke through the darkness. Any questions? So all days start in the morning and end at the evening, because the evening is that transitional period. Now, let me ask this question. Well, no, I'm not going to ask it. But all days start in the morning. Yes, ma'am.
Cisco have a question. It's not the Gordon what we're talking about.
Sure. Hey, Cisco.
Shabbat shalom. See, I see what Leviticus says regarding rabbits being unclean.
Mm-hmm.
While reasonably sure this means that use of the fur, hats, coats would be unclean. But I would like your thoughts on that.
Yes, absolutely. I totally agree. Because the hair of that rabbit is part of its carcass. Now, here's the thing. When I did some study on that, now, could you use? I had to think about this question. Could I use the rabbit fur if it was taken off the rabbit while it was alive? Because the Almighty said, don't eat or touch the carcass of it. Now, what if the rabbit is alive and I take the rabbit fur? Can I use it then?
Yeah. Yes.
Because I didn't take it off the carcass.
But you can't eat it.
You can't eat it. No, you can't eat it. But for real, and people think like, but you know what's funny is I'm pretty sure ain't nobody running around in forests with clippers like, come here, Cottontail, let me get that for you. So in saying that, you know, when you take it off the dead carcass, no, it's unclean. It's totally unclean. Just like if I had a farm, would I have pigs on my farm? Yes, I would. Would I have pigs on my farm to use as a source of food? No, I wouldn't. I would use them to clean the land. Pigs eat anything. Pigs' digestive system is totally different from other animals. They have a way of excreting poisons. So yeah, I will let them eat the land, eat the snakes up, and all that. Now, if a pig dies, is it lawful for me to touch it? The Almighty told me don't touch the carcass. So I would have to find a way to bury it or find a way to get rid of it. Now, as my brother asked a beautiful question about rabbit fur, what about using hairbrushes with boar bristles? You know them wave brushes. We all want them 360s and 180s. Can we use boar bristles? There are some farms, and you have to do, when I did some research, there are some farms that raise pigs just for that. What brands they use, we don't know. But where they actually shear the pig, the hairs, and use them for brushes or use them for products. But then I also saw how another way that they sheared pigs. And they take pigs and put them in this boiling hot, it's like this humongous apparatus thing. And they put the pig in there and they shear with hot boiling water the hair off of the pig. And the hair comes off of the pig. Sort of like the same thing they do to tarantulas. There's a travelers convention. I think they have every year. I don't know if they have one since COVID. But one of the delicacies of this convention is deep fried tarantulas. And what they do is they get tarantulas. They're not alive, of course. They get them and they shear them and they put them in boiling hot water and shear all the hair off of the tarantula. And then they put it in the little batter and deep fry. And that's a treat. A treat. Yeah. Something that me and you would want to shoot. They take and eat like fried chicken. So when it comes to my brother's question about the rabbit, no, I'm gonna say no. No rabbit fur, none. If it's got rabbit fur, no, because we don't know how it was got. You understand? Yes, sir.
No, like say if you shaved it off, just the hair, like shave it off, like I guess say if a badger, shave off the badger's fur, then that wouldn't be unclean, because then you have to think about it for a minute. If I'm petting the animal, am I touching the fur?
Oh, you petting the animal?
Yeah, like touching the fur.
Yeah.
So then, if I'm touching the animal, then that will make me unclean, even though it's alive.
Only if the animal's alive. I mean, dead. If the animal's alive, then no. The Almighty said, "Don't touch the carcass of an unclean animal." Carcass is the actual is what's left when the body. Because here's the thing: when a person, when a living thing dies, its spirit, it leaves it. It's no longer in existence. It's just a shell. And when you're dealing with animals, or when you're dealing with any living organism, any organism, you touching the carcass of it. So when a person dies, carcass. When you touch a dead animal, carcass. But usually when they use carcass, it's usually used towards animals. So he said, don't touch the carcass of an animal. Don't touch the dead body of an animal. Now, if that animal's alive, dang, I feel like this deja vu. I feel like I had a dream. Who's talking about this? When you touch an animal, you can touch it while it's alive. You know, you want to get on the pig and ride it. You know, just whoa, Weber. You understand? You want to get on it, you know, you can do that while it's alive. Now, if you ride that pig and it dies, then you know you can't touch it. And you become unclean. But y'all might not want to touching it at all. So, did I answer your question? Any other questions, comments? I hope I answered Cisco's question.
Yeah, he said thanks for that.
Well,
Praise y'all.
before I say that,
Yeah, brother, go ahead.
you know what I'm saying?
You understand what I'm saying? Okay, good.
I understand what you mean. Why?
Oh, yes, most definitely, most definitely. And I'm getting older, so I gotta make stuff up close like. Okay. But all right. Okay, so let's see. I had another thought that I wanted to share. Something else I was looking up and meditating on this week was Being a friend. Being a friend. What does being a good friend constitute? What will make me a good friend? I looked up the word friend in Hebrew, and it simply meant companion. Companion. A companion, they attributed, of course, to an animal or someone that travels with you. But there was something that stuck out with me with that word companion. And the word companion means it's a pair that complements each other. Complements each other. So I said, well, choosing friends, should I look for friends? Should I just be looking for everybody to be my friend? Or should I be looking for certain individuals that complement me? So in other words, if I'm on the path of doing what's righteous, should I not want to be friends with those with the same ideals? Wouldn't it, I mean, let's say I'm on the path of trying to do what's right. And I got a friend, we grew up together. You understand? This friend told me I just ain't ready for that walk you on right now. Our parents used to bathe us together. We ate at each other's houses. We was them type of friends. And then you choose a path of, let's say that you both ran the streets, but eventually you say, you know what, I'm getting kind of tired of this. I found the Almighty and I want to go a different path. And your friend look at you and say, well, I'm still gonna do me. Should you cut total ties with that individual? Because they're not walking the same road that you're walking. Like, should you totally just cut them off? Stop calling them, stop going over to their house, stop kicking it with them. You know what I'm saying? Like, should you just totally be like, you're not on my walk, so I can't be around you no more? Should you do that? What do y'all think?
It might be a big question mark because that might be a big question mark because if both of us used to smoke weed, drink, hang out, and I don't do that anymore, and they do, I might have to cut. I would still call them, how you doing, this and that and the other, but as far as hanging with them, I don't know about anybody else, I would cut them off, other than checking on them, seeing how they doing, if you need anything, but running with them, nope, because we're on a different path. Because if I continue with them, then I might start thinking, well, they having all this fun, and maybe I better go ahead on and start having fun with them, because right now, they having fun, and I don't, sometimes you might start questioning yourself.
That's true. That's true. Yeah. Yeah, this is a good point.
Well, Cisco commented and said, I would turn away from the negative aspects and not engage, but be there should the person wish to learn more or turn.
Huh. Okay, Brother Cisco. Okay. Okay. What do y'all think?
Well, my thing is this: I have a couple of friends that do a whole bunch of stuff they shouldn't be doing. But that's what they do up there. But they know how I am over here. So when they with me, no, we're not gonna do this. And they respect me on that.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying? I still socialize with them. But I ain't got to do it.
That's right.
It's all about how you can control your spirit on these things. And if you can't control your spirit while you with them,
Right.
not to do what they doing, then yeah, then you shouldn't hang with them. But if you can,
Excellent point. It boils down to controlling that spirit. What you think, man? Okay. Well, let me say this. Let me get a. I gave the definition of a friend, so I want to compliment you. Let's look at a few scriptures. Turn to the book of Proverbs 17. I'm dealing with a friend. Proverbs chapter 17. And when everyone gets there, son, I want you to read verse 17, please.
Chapter 15, right?
17.
Oh, 17.
Mhm. Proverbs 17 and verse 17.
Reading.
Yes, sir.
A friend loveth at all. A friend loveth at all times, and a brother is born for adversity.
Now, friend loveth at all times. And how would I explain that? Somebody say, what does that mean? I have my thought. Well, how would y'all explain it? That a friend loveth at all times. And that a brother is born for adversity. What I would do is explain it to him exactly what it says. That a true friend loveth at all times. A true friend gonna love you when you up and when you're down. When you sideways and when you straight forward. A true friend is going to love you through hell and high water. A true friend, even though we talk about not Joseph, but even though we talk about Job and his friends that came through, these were highly respected men that left where they were from to come and at least sit with Job. Now, yeah, they were out of order, but they did something. They showed, they didn't just come there and just do this to him. When he sat amongst the ashes, they sat amongst the ashes, and then they did this. But nonetheless, they were there for him. That's an example of friendship. That's what a friend does. David and Jonathan's relationship, theirs was a little deeper than a friendship. It was more like a brotherhood. But a true friend is going to carry you. A real friend is going to carry you. A real friend going to tell you when you're wrong. I was watching something, me and my wife was watching some reality show a while ago. I forgot the name of it, what we were watching. But it was one of the, I know what it was. It was Married in 90 Days, 90 Day Fiance, that's what it was. We was watching that. And this black girl had fell in love with this Muslim guy. And the Muslim guy was, he was from Iran or somewhere. But she had went over there. And he was trying his best with her. But she was very, what's the word? Spoiled. In a sense, he was one of them. So he tried so hard with her. He moved her in. He got, he tried his best. It even got to the point where he left his family. His family were pretty wealthy. So he left them because they turned his back on him because he was leaving a lot of the Muslim values for this woman. Like in Islam, these brothers, these guys in Islam was like, we can't sleep with you until we're married. But these women, somehow they flipped the script and the men ended up laying with the women before marriage. So then that's disgraceful. And this girl and her friend came. She said, well, I want to go see him, and I want you to go with me. So her friend came. And you know, most of the time that you get to this. All of them like this. Yeah, girl, get him, girl. But the friend said to her, you wrong. And my wife and I looked at my wife and I said, did she just say? And the girl was like, yeah, but then she was like, no, you're wrong. He's XY, he's trying, but you're wrong. Why are you doing him like this? You are doing this. In Islam, the women are not allowed to drink alcohol. But she, being spoiled, drinks alcohol, gets disorderly in a predominantly Islamic community, not where down the street they ain't Muslim, they ain't Christian. No, the whole state is Muslim. It's against the law for a woman to drink. So she goes and gets a drink and gets a little belligerent. Her friend was like, you're wrong. That right there at that excuse me, at that moment, I said, man, that's what a friend would do. A true friend is going to do that. And when it says, and a brother is born for adversity, we all know what that means, or some of us should. When you're born, brothers are born sometimes, siblings, always in competition with each other. You got the older brother and here's the thing. You got the older brother. It's always the youngest that seems to get spoiled. The middle child is the one that's always the saying, the bald-headed stepchild. That's the one that seems to always get pushed back. Because you got the parent who loves the older sibling because they're older and they can do more. And then you got the baby. And then you got the middle child. And the middle child usually get their love from the grandma, grandpa, other family members. But it's not that they hate them. It's just they might get passed over in a sense. So the middle child, the older child get new clothes. The baby gets new clothes. But the middle child gets the hand-me-downs. So this is the hand-me-down stage of the middle child. So when you got, there's always going to be adversity with siblings. It don't even matter if it's two boys or a boy and a girl or two girls. There's always going to be a form of rivalry there. You understand? In a sense. It may not be as prevalent in some, but in majority of your siblings, you're going to have a rivalry. Why you let her, like I'm watching another show my wife and I watch, is Smothered. It's about these mothers who just go overboard with their children. Like there's one where a son and the mother have a relationship that's so gross. Like he'll look at her and be like, "Oh, mama, you're sexy." And then there's a mother, exactly. And then there's a mother who has such a relationship with her son that no woman is good enough for him, right? And then the son, in one of the episodes, he's standing in the bathroom while he has on his underwear. And he's getting ready to go. He has to, first of all, I'm closing who's that? Mama? Okay, mom, I'm not dressed. You know what I'm saying? But that's law. You ain't supposed to look upon me when I'm in my nakedness. He's standing there, but he's, Caucasian. So he's standing there in the mirror, and he's just got on his underwear. Mom walks in. Hubba. Like, I got uncomfortable. Like, like sometimes my mom, I love my mom, but she'd be like, hey, who has my dark chocolate? No, mama. I'm light skinned. I'm light skinned right now. Mama. But it's totally innocent with parents. But in them cases, and then the guy, he be all over his mom. Like, his fiance is looking like, what you doing? That's your mama. They kiss in the mouth. Yeah. But that's what the society they live in. But Sometimes they have friends that'll tell them like, yo, you wrong. You wrong. You doing too much. And you will notice the true friends are the ones that most friends don't call on when they want to do something dirty. You know, and what I mean by that is everybody got a couple friends. You got the one friend that you can call if you broke. You got the one friend you can call if you want to gossip. You got the one friend you can call if you want to go out and kick it. And you got the one friend that you call on when you really need some deep thought help. And then you got the one friend that's the pop off. That's the one that you call. You at the movies and somebody ain't moving fast enough and they coming at you. You like, oh, I got somebody for you. Hey, lollipop. Sweet britches. I need you to come up to the movies. Bang. Get out the car, rowdy. What? Where's she at? Where's she at? Moving. So why you call her? That's right. Cause she pop off and she ready for it. What? Don't even ask questions. Just come in swinging. Them be the ones that get shot or arrested first. You understand? But the true friend is the one that's gonna tell you you was wrong for calling her. All that lady was moving slow because she had epilepsy, or maybe she was old. You was wrong for laying with that man, knowing he's married or not even being married yourself. Them usually the most loneliest people, the ones that tell the truth. But a true friend, I'm gonna tell you something. To have a true friend, to have one good friend is better than having a million. Because I can trust you. I can trust you. I can tell you things you don't have to worry about it getting out. I don't have to worry about it being posted on Instagram. You know how y'all hear something from a person and you just can't wait to tell the tea. Get on there and you question it a certain way. I got a question for Facebook. What if, not talking about my friend, but what if you got a friend and then the friend look and be like, man, I told you that, but I ain't mention you. A true friend, let me tell you something. Let's say you call your friend, this is a true friend, and you tell them you about to kill yourself. You about to just take yourself out because you can't take it no more. That true friend is going to ignore everything that you said about don't call nobody. And the next thing you know, the police are knocking at your door to come help you. And they may be right behind you. But I told you don't say nothing. I'm not going to let you take your life. You're my friend. You understand? A true friend won't necessarily go down in the murky waters with you, but they'll do what they can to lift you up and to be like, you don't need to be down there either. That's what a true friend is. A true friend should never be measured by how many times you ask them for a loan and they give you money. That's not a true friend. That's just a user. A true friend ain't someone that stays silent when you're doing wrong. A true friend will correct you and say, look, man, you out of order. Turn to the book of Proverbs 18. You had your hand up, son. Yes, sir.
Sometimes you might have heard it like when you worked at a heat.
Mm-hmm.
You might have heard it when some kids say, "Oh, they be talking to them though," but they say, "Oh, those are my friends, those are my associates."
Mm-hmm.
To me, I don't really like that word at all. I wouldn't call people associates because it don't feel right. I just say, like, we'll talk for like a couple of days and then that friend, or or some people just don't want, they just don't talk to you. Is that coming out right?
It's coming out how you want it to come out, which is right. I understand what you're doing. You're explaining your feelings. So yeah, you're fine. How you're explaining it, it's making sense, and I totally understand it. So yes, you are explaining it correctly. That's the thought you're trying to convey. And see, the word associate is not a negative term. It's just a real term. Because I associate with you, which makes you my associate. But to be my friend is a deeper relationship than an associate. Like you said, if I casually talk to a woman or a man, we're just associates. I don't call you after work. We don't kick it. We don't do nothing. If I see you at the job, I might throw a few jokes your way. You might throw something my way. But you haven't earned the right to be my friend. Not because you're mean or anything, but just because we haven't grown that type of relationship yet. So to be my friend is a totally different area. Yes, ma'am.
I have associates, people I work with, they ain't my friends. I just tell my associates, I gotta deal with you at work. You see what I'm saying? Everybody ain't your friend.
There you go. There you go.
So you can have associates, that's somebody that you deal with sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Like me at work, I have to deal with these people because we have to work with them. But they ain't my friends.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? Now, I might have one or two associates that's starting to be my friend. But listen, associates, if I work with you, from the time I get there to the time I leave, I see you, bye.
Mm-hmm.
We gotta work together. So, I'm my associate.
And that's wisdom, because you might even share a few laughs with them. Y'all might kick it and joke and do this, but like you said, those are just my associates.
See, they ain't ready for me. Because when I start talking, I'm talking scripts and I'm saying something,
Mm-hmm.
they ain't trying to hear it.
Mm-hmm.
So they gonna go to you. You might have one or two that listen.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? Which I do have like one or two that do listen. As far as females and males. Well, good job.
Like sis got a cousin that I work with. I love her. She reminds me so much of you. When I see her, yeah. I see her, I see you. And I think that's too why, because I'll be like, that's like my sis right there, because that's how you are. And I consider her to be on her as a friend because of the things that she's done for me. You know, I mean, not saying she don't do nothing for nobody, but what she's done for me and how she looks out for me in certain areas. And that's what a friend does. You know what I'm saying? Like one time she came over and saw me at my desk and she corrected me on something. I was wrong. She corrected me on it. And it wasn't no, yeah, you wrong. You pop. She came over and like, hey, you're supposed to be doing that. And I was like, oh yeah, you're right. Because I did something wrong. That's what a friend does. That's what a friend does. And I send my condolences too. I send that too. Because, you know what I'm saying? And that's what you do. That's what a friend truly does. So you can have somebody that you associate with, and you can have someone who is your friend. And like sis said, you can have somebody that's leaning to being a friend, but that's because they don't hit certain areas of what I think a friend should be. Now I can say, okay, you're leaning towards a friend because there's certain things that you're exhibiting now that's going to complement. So now when I look for a friend, I'm not looking for a friend, just somebody to kick it with. No, we have to complement. You got to compliment me. And it's not me being arrogant. It's just, why would I waste my time when I've been doing it for so long? I need somebody, you know what I'm saying? I would like someone that compliments me and we on the same path. Because it's better to grow with your friends, but if I have to grow alone, then that's just what it is. But it's better to have a friend that you can call on, that you can grow with. Everyone needs a good friend. You don't need a whole bunch of friends to have a good friend. My wife has a handful of good friends. And these sisters have been with her before me, and they took me in and you know, and kind of took me in as their friend because I'm with their friend.
And not just only that, my little cousin do look out for him because she called me one day to ask me, where is a vegan bakery?
I remember that.
You know what I'm saying? She looks out, but she knows we in the same thing. So she calls me on certain things, and it's for my kids. So yeah, hey, look, she look out for you.
Praise Yahweh.
She look out for you.
You have to hook me up with that.
Huh?
You have to hook me up with that.
With the bakery? You okay?
Got you. We got you.
Yeah.
And she, when I came in, she was hyped to tell me, like, I got you. Praise Yahweh. But yeah, no, so go ahead, son. No, go ahead.
Well,
I know you might have your. I think it's probably only me, but I just when they like like when you think somebody your friend, it hurts. It might hurt. It might hurt you.
Yeah.
So.
But you are allowed to have your own view. It's okay. You don't have to agree with me. You don't have to agree with nobody because I don't walk your walk. And what I want to tell you too is I love the exuberance that you have with serving the Almighty. But I'm going to tell you something. Don't base your walk with Yahweh on how I walk with Him. Don't base your walk with Yahweh on how any of us walk with the Creator. And I'm going to tell you what gets people away from serving the Creator is you look at an entity that you respect. And that's how you view how Yahweh should be served. And as soon as that person steps out of the line of the Almighty, then 9 times out of 10, you're going to step out because you done based your understanding of who they are. Because people look like, for example, if you have a respect for someone, you look at them differently than you do everybody else. So if this person that you have a true respect for, you look at them and you like, man, they just exude strength and exuberance, and but one day they have a bad day. And you look at them and you be like, well, I guess they ain't as strong. Well, I mean, or you might go with, damn, if this strong person get weak, I guess I'm weak too. No, it don't mean that. It just means this person had a bad day. Discover your walk with the Almighty for yourself. For yourself. Don't serve Yahweh to please nobody else but yourself or to please the Creator. Please Yahweh. Because even though I'm a teacher, I'm still growing. Even though I'm a minister, I'm still growing. I still err. So don't base your walk. And you're going to be, and let me tell you something too. The House of Yehudah may not be your only place you want to go study at. You may tell your imam, hey, I want to go over to this place where they took me. You got to find your direction with Yahweh. You want to be around others that serve the Creator, as many of us do. But you got to make sure you stay in there, because I done seen people come in strong. Yahweh, Yahweh, Yahweh. Then the next thing you know, hey, did you know that Egyptology say this? Or did you know that really in Christianity, hey, did you know I took on Islam, where they might say, man, it ain't no God. You can't even keep the laws. I've seen that because something in them was disappointed by the image of the individual that they saw, that they had respect for. They saw, see, man is fallible. We mess up. Man is mortal. We err. We're gonna mess up. I don't care how long your beard is or how many fringes you wear. We're gonna mess up, brother. You might walk in on the congregation and hear 2 Israelites arguing. It happens. It's done happen. You might walk in on the congregation and you start hearing things, whispering. Oh, that brother don't know what they talking about. That sister, she gets on my nerves. You're gonna hear that. You might hear that. You may hear it, but it should not deter your walk with Yahweh. Don't go to a Knesset for the people. Go for the word of the Almighty. Because I'm gonna tell you, we're gonna disappoint you. I'm just being real with you. We're gonna disappoint you because we're humans. We're humans trying to find our spiritual way. That's what we are. We're humans trying to find a spiritual way.
God will test you.
And He will.
See how strong you are.
That's right. He'll test you with anybody. Anything, anybody. Yeah, He'll test you. Oh, you really strong with me, son? Oh, you want to do what for me, son? That I got something for you. Let me see how strong you truly are. And some people are afraid to walk with Yahweh because they say they're afraid of being tested. You can't run from tests. Even the wicked get tested to see how either they're going to change or how much more wicked they're going to be. So when serving Yahweh, serve Yahweh for yourself. And then let it spill out abroad. Don't serve Yahweh for nobody else, but for the reason of you getting closer to Him. Don't give up on Yahweh, because He didn't give up on us. All right. Praise Yahweh. Now, with that being said, we're going to end this portion of today's Sabbath services for a moment. Yah willing, we'll be back at 4:30 to oh, no, we're not gonna end it. No, we're not gonna end it. Are there any current events?
I like to. Well, first and foremost, I'd like to give our praises to the Almighty by saying hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
For bringing me through a week, putting people in my life that kind of enhanced things that I thought I knew and didn't know. And I thank you for that. The current event that, it's just a couple that I want to mention. One is showing how our young people is being killed in the street. In Avondale, it was a drive-by shooting and a 17-year-old boy got shot in the eye. A couple days ago over in Vine Hill on Laidlaw, an 8-year-old boy was crossing the street and got hit by a car and he died. And I mean, it just so much. And it just is to the point now where you're afraid to let your children go outside to do anything in your own front yard. And, you know, we just have to stay prayed up and just try to be, well, with me, I try to be with people and try to keep my grandchildren with children that's like-minded, try, you know, serving the Almighty and try to keep them away from the children that's doing and parents that letting them do what the heck they want to do. So for that, I just say praise Yah. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. You have current events? Yes, sir.
You know, I just thought of like what you just said. When me and my mom was talking about some call, I think it was like she said something about Emmett Till. Emmett
Till.
Yeah, talking about that the two racist cops will kill them because some unrighteous witness, which was an old lady, right? Right.
Yep.
She just now coming forth a couple years ago, said that he never did with it. So this young man lost his life. That fact is on TV right now, so if you want to check it out.
Correct.
Yeah, the movie of Emmett Till, yes.
Yep, you sure right. Yep.
Yeah.
I saw
The
that.
way that it happened, they drugged him, they messed his whole thing up. And his mother went about him and she the coffin closed. She wanted to stay open so the world could see what they did to her son. They disfigured his.
Yep. And then they tied him up and put him in the water. His face was about this big in the casket. It was unrecognizable. They beat him, shot him, because of the accusations that this woman was whistled at.
He never did listen.
Nope. Yep.
He was there visiting family in the South.
And you're gonna and like with Emmett Till, that's how the Oklahoma, in Oklahoma, the Black Wall Street. In Oklahoma, there was a community of blacks that had took money. They would work for the white man, but they brought the money back to the community and built this community. Well, what started that battle was, of course, the jealousy of the enemy, but it was because of a black man. Supposedly, this white woman said he had raped her. And he didn't. So they strung him up, hung him, and no, they were going to. And what had happened? No, they did. And what had happened was the men of that particular community gathered together with guns and they went down to that courthouse. And they was like, you ain't about to do nothing. That's when men were men. And it was like, you ain't about to do nothing. And then that's when they embarked on the destruction of Black Wall Street. But testimony-wise, giving Yah glory and praise, any testimonies anybody want to share? Yes, sir.
I want to say hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
I want to thank him for allowing me to see another day. And and bringing me all the way here.
Hallelujah.
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 Yes, ma'am.
I'd like to get Almighty all praise for saying hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
I want to thank the Almighty for being my strength. I want to thank the Almighty for allowing me to see another set of court games. I want to thank y'all for everything. And if I start saying what he did, we'll be here all night. So thank you, y'all.
Praise Yahweh. Any testimony? Well, I want to thank the Almighty, bless him and thank him. I had a test this week that to become a paraprofessional with CPS. And I didn't get a chance to study for it. I only had an opportunity to really look at a few things. And I went, and I'm going to tell you something. I had to take it. I had to go to Lebanon. Yeah, and take it. And I'm sitting in my car, and I'm like, man, these racists, man. These racists, man. But I'm going to tell you something. I sat in my car, and Yahweh, it was like a feeling. It was a feeling. I'm not going to say Yahweh talked to me. You know, it was a feeling. Well, I feel like Yahweh let me know, like, what you afraid of then? So what if they are racist? What you worried about? So I sat there and was like, yeah. I got in this place. These were some of the nicest, sweetest, even the sheriff, because it was attached to a school, even the sheriff that was in there was nice. I mean, we joked around, and it was just cool environment. So like I said, I didn't get a chance to study anything. So I didn't get a chance to study, but got in there. Y'all blessed me to pass that test.
Oh, yeah.
And what I learned was stop being ill prepared. Always be ready. And that's what Minister Yoel taught. Always, Minister Alicia, always be ready. You never know. So now I'm telling people, get off of your couches of do nothingness. Go walking, go running, go do something to get healthy. Because you never know. I have to be on the move.
Right.
Always get your mind right. Put down the weed for a moment and pick up a book. Just research something.
Yeah, how people do. Smoking too many trees.
Oh, yes, they do. Man.
Oh,
I mean, they smoke. Oh, man, when they passed that law making it legal in a sense in certain states, man, people smoking now like they cigarettes. They was doing it anyway. But now it's just, they getting blunts like this big. Like, man. And then it ain't even the good weed. I'm sorry. It's this fake stuff. It's what we smoking now is hybrid. It's not even the good weed. Let me tell you something. Back in the day, and I'm not that old, but I do know about weed. Before all this purple haze and all this stuff they got out now, why would you smoke something called death? Like, if they, if they got stuff out now, I'm not saying it is. I don't know. They probably do got something called death. And I got that death. Why would I want to smoke that? I got things like, what was it? Cat Williams, like, I got things to do. I can't afford to die. But back in the day when you smoked weed, it was a calmer. You was chill. Now, you smoke weed and then listen to the music that's out there now. Man, no wonder we crazy. We smoking this genetically modified weed. Then we listen to the showing on my kid. You listen to that. Yeah. Used to be when you smoke weed, you listen to some, well, you know what I'm saying? So in love. You in that listen, you chilling. Now you smoking, you want to kill something. You don't even want to eat. Like the weed we used to have, and I'm not promoting it, I'm not. But we used to, it made you hungry. You were too hungry to fight. You was looking for combinations of peanut butter and sardines. It was just cereal with red pop. You just put stuff together. Man, this is the bomb. Now we want to kill each other. Yes, ma'am.
It's funny that you talked about this. Probably last week, and the little young boy, he walked in and was like, dude, what you do? Just set up under the tree and just light the whole tree? What? We at work. You can't come in here like that. No, you cannot. So he was sitting there and one lady talking to him, white lady talking to him like, you can't do that. That cannot be done here. So he was sitting there talking and she was like, she have a nephew and them that do that. This little boy sat there and started naming off weed. And I'm looking like, I had to do a Scooby-Doo like, her. He said it was Oreo flavor out there, it's bubblegum flavor weed out there. All name, he just started naming. And I'm like, and he said, really? And it tastes just like it.
Wow.
He was a geek to tell us all this stuff. But, you know, he didn't last long. I think I read him last week.
Yeah,
But, you know,
that was in the
like,
future.
Wow.
Yeah,
The stuff that they have come up with now.
that's true. If I smoked the weed that y'all smoked today, you would hear this. On today's news, a 47-year-old man is running up. We just can't talk. We got to show you. You'll still have me running up and down Clifton Avenue. Ah, where your clothes at? Ah, I got them on. No, you don't, sir. You're butt naked. Ah! That's how crazy I will be. That's how, yes, Bill.
Okay, I like another turning event.
Mhm.
Down there in Texas, where kids lost their life in their school, they suspended the whole police.
Yeah,
They suspended the whole police department.
because of how they reacted
Because
to
of
it,
how they
their reaction
reacted.
time.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, you know what happened in mind.
Yeah.
Everybody goes to another job.
Yep, you right. You 100% right. I didn't know that.
Yep.
Yes, ma'am.
One last praise. Sister Sydney said, Shabbat Shalom, praise Yah for revelation of wisdom, His mercy endures forever.
Praise Yahweh. Yahweh is righteous. I thank him for his mercy and compassion and for what he does for me and my family. You know, it's just a privilege to serve the Creator. It's a privilege to be able to worship him on his holy day. So what we're going to do now is going to take we do from maybe about 12 to 2 is praise. And then Yah willing, we'll come back at 4:30. And Yah willing, I'll teach the latter part of the class. Then come bring your questions, bring your comments, and it'll be just a live, and let's all worship and praise Yahweh together. So let us all stand, pray out. To Yahweh belongs glory, praise, and honor. Thank you, Father Yah, for your mercy and your compassion. Shema, Israel, Yahweh, Eloheinu, Yahweh, Echad, Hero Israel, Yahweh Elohim, Yahweh is one. Yahweh bless you. Yahweh, please continue to bless us and keep us. Yahweh, please continue to allow your face to shine upon us and be gracious unto us. Please continue to lift your countenance up upon us and give us peace. Hallelujah.
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 Praise the mighty Yah. Yah is righteous. Yah is holy. And Yah is to be magnified. Amen. All right. Thank you again for tuning in with us. And Yah willing, we will be back at 4:30. Praise the Most High Yahweh. May Yahweh receive all glory and all praise. All glory and all praise.